Well. How you like that sleight of hand, right? If there's one thing I can say when it comes to the political or ruling class in this country, there's one thing they're all pretty damn good at, and that's deception. And when it comes to the SNC Lavalin, that big scandal regarding corruption, bribery, and abhorrent behavior, the Trudeau Liberals made sure that the outcome was exactly what they wanted. And no DPA was even needed or necessary. Headline out of CBC News Montreal, SNC Lavalin pleads guilty to fraud in connection with work in Libya. Company accused of paying nearly $48 million to Libyan officials under Gaddafi regime. This has no particular contributor, but it was posted December 18th, 2019. A division of SNC Lavalin Group, Inc. has pleaded guilty to fraud in relation to the company's activities in Libya. The prosecution and defense are both recommending a $280 million fine to be paid over 5 years, and the SNC Lavalin Construction, the division in question, be placed on probation for 3 years. The company and 2 of its subsidiaries were facing charges that they paid nearly $48 million to public officials to influence government decisions under the late dictator Muammar Gaddafi's regime between 2001 and 2011. So think about that. The prosecution and the defense both are recommending the same outcome. Pay a fine, which, hey, who's going to be the recipient of that fine, of that money? Government. Oh, so that's a big old benefit for the government coffers. And it's a mere slap in the wrist and the cost of doing business for SNC Lavalin. So everybody makes out like bandits. Everything goes forward. It looks like they at least did something, right? The optics at least looks like they did plead guilty. They admitted guilt, right? But once again, at the end of the day, if the consequences, no real punishment, no one in SNC Lavalin, nobody's going to jail. The people of SNC Lavalin are going to pay that. It's going to be, the cost of whatever the construction. You just bid up the cost to pay for all that stuff of whatever their next few construction projects are. So really, it'll be taxpayers because they love working with government, right? Or someone else, or private people even. But other people are going to be paying for this, not the CEOs or the bigwigs at SNC Lavalin. So really, at the end of the day, it works out great for the Trudeau Liberals, the government coffers, SNC Lavalin, and all those corrupt individuals, except, I guess, well, there was one guy, there was one guy they did give him a jail sentence, apparently. So I guess they did throw at least one of their folks under the proverbial bus, right? He's the martyr, right? As, I don't know, some benevolent gesture, right? But at the end of the day, is anything going to change? Probably not, except, well, actually, one thing that will change. They'll be much better at hiding their corruption or their bribery than they were in the past, I would imagine, going forward. But at the end of the day, like I say, it worked out well for all involved, except for those of us who were actually expecting justice. Yeah, that never happened. Of course, I never expected it to, because I'm a realist, and I actually recognize that reality that surrounds me. I'll place a link to this article in the description of the video below. Actually, before I tie this video up, let me just point out this other article that is referencing the SNC Lavalin case with the headline, SNC shares surge after company settled fraud charges. So even their stocks have surged after they've been deemed guilty, or someone within the organization was deemed guilty, or they pled guilty. But if the stocks have surged, and what I'm hearing already early, I'm not going to read from this article, folks. Like I said, I don't want to waste too much time, but their stocks have gone up multitudes higher than the fines or the fine that they're going to have to pay, right? So if your stocks have increased a multitude of what the fine's going to be, once again, it's just a representation of the cost of doing corrupt business, which really seems to be the status quo in Canada these days. If you get the money, you don't have to worry about whether you do something illegal, corrupt, or criminal in nature. You can buy your freedom and move on. Yeah, that's the way it is, folks. Welcome to Canada 2019 under the Trudeau Liberals. It's Canadian Libertarian, and I love liberty.